All right, it's Tuesday. Good evening and thank you for joining us. You're watching the 9 at Night. I'm Stefania Jimenez. Tonight, one person has been arrested after 4 Americans were kidnapped in Mexico and 2 of them were then killed. The other 2 people survived. We're also learning the Americans' names. We're now getting the names of those. They're Shahid Woodward, Latavia McGee, Zindell Brown, and Eric Williams. Now, this video that you're looking at, it appears to show, or you're gonna see the video. It shows the group as they were being kidnapped by heavily armed men right there and thrown into the back of a pickup truck. U.S. officials say that gunmen began shooting at the group's minivan, which had North Carolina plates, then kidnapped the people inside. One bystander was also killed. We're told the bodies of the 2 Americans should be in the U.S. by tonight. The group had reportedly traveled to Mexico so that at least one of them could have a cosmetic procedure, but they're far from the only ones seeking health care south of the border. Our Garrett Berger spoke with an expert on so-called medical tourism about what drives people south.
A group of 4 Americans kidnapped in Matamoros hadn't gone looking for trouble. They were looking for a medical procedure.
For most of those people, they're traveling for dental procedures, but people also travel for pharmaceuticals, they also travel for surgery, and they also travel for health and wellness reasons.
David Vequist is the founder and director of the Center for Medical Tourism Research at UIW. He expects that this year, millions of travelers will spend more than $264 million on medical and healthcare services in Mexico, where it's cheaper. And from the little data available, Vequist says there doesn't seem to be much statistical difference in the quality of care from the U.S.
So when people go into Mexico, they're essentially saying that they believe that there's a certain quality level at a certain price point that they believe is giving them value.
The Associated Press reports one of the 4 travelers had reportedly wanted to get a tummy tuck. Vequist says research by his center that still has to go through the review process shows that's the most common procedure for women who are traveling abroad for cosmetic surgery. But medical safety isn't the only cause of concern for medical tourists.
Matamoros is in the Mexican state of Tamaulipas, which runs from Nuevo Laredo down to the Gulf of Mexico. Because of crime and kidnapping, the State Department has given it its highest advisory level: do not travel. That's the same level it gave to North Korea and Ukraine.
The remaining 2 survivors of the Matamoros group have been brought to a U.S. hospital, where they're getting a very different kind of health care than what brought them south. Garrett Berger, KSAT 12 News.
Another news now, continuing our coverage of that deadly dog attack. We've learned that in a 2-year period, the San Antonio Police Department was called more than 100 times to the home where the owners of the dogs involved in that deadly attack lived. Now we're talking about 112 calls. People complained about firework disturbances, loud music, shots fired, abandoned vehicles. However, only 2 of the calls were animal related. One neighbor told KSAT that she wrote a letter to Councilwoman Terry Castillo about the constant problem that she's had with the owners, but Councilwoman Castillo says that she never got that letter.
We asked the constituent around what time frame that it was delivered. She did not recall, and then I asked if there was a follow-up email or phone call, and there was not.
But now Castillo says that she's in contact with neighbors. As for the dog's owners, they're at the Bexar County Jail facing a charge of a deadly dog attack resulting in death and injury to an elderly person. The man who was killed in a shooting at a motel over the weekend is 23-year-old Dion Amides, but it's unclear if the man who killed him is going to be charged for it. So let's go back. That shooting happened Saturday at the Upland Inn off I-10 East near Houston Street. San Antonio police say that Amides walked into the room where a couple was staying. Police allege that Amides had been stalking the woman, and when he refused to leave, police say the man in the room shot Amides in the head, and he later died. In other news now, a man is recovering after being nicked by a bullet that was fired during an apparent road rage shooting. The man says that he did absolutely nothing to provoke the shooter. Our Katrina Weber spoke with him about how he got away before the violence escalated.
Help came quickly for Noe Mendoza in response to trouble that happened in an instant.
I have no idea what I did to set them off, but it happens.
Mendoza pulled into this parking lot near Loop 410 and Southton Road after someone armed and angry took aim at him just before 6:30 this morning. He was driving home from work at the time. Mendoza says he had just pulled onto the access road here from Roosevelt when he suddenly found himself involved in what became a heated race for his life.
I drove around them. They tried to cut me off again. sped up to get away from them. They got ahead of me, and then they started shooting at me.
He says a passenger in a white Jeep Grand Cherokee fired at him at least 4 times. His truck was left with bullet holes and a flattened tire. One bullet also grazed his shoulder.
It felt like a burn, but I didn't realize I had actually been shot until I pulled over here.
After paramedics patched him up, police questioned him for clues, hoping some of that information might help them track down the shooter. Mendoza says he's stunned by what happened, but not exactly surprised.
We live in Texas where you don't need a permit to carry a loaded gun in a vehicle.
He says he's glad in this case he was able to walk away without any serious injuries. Katrina Weber, KSAT 12 News.
Now, police are still looking for the people who led officers on a chase from New Braunfels to San Antonio's southeast side. That chase began just before 2 this morning on I-35 in New Braunfels. Now, police there say that officers saw someone driving erratically, trying to pull them over. The driver then sped off and led officers all the way to East-South Cross in Pecan Grove. A passenger jumped from the vehicle right onto the interstate. The driver then crashed into a utility pole before running off. Now, police did detain a second passenger at the scene. Now up to Galveston, where the body of one of the twins last seen at Pleasure Pier on Sunday was found. Galveston Island Beach Patrol confirmed the remains were found today. Now, it hasn't been made clear yet which twin's body was found and which twin they're still looking for. Patrol officials say that the east to west flow of the current there could mean that the other twin can either be a block or 3 miles down the beach, and that's based on where the first body was found. And back here at home, let's get you outside. Here's meteorologist Adam Caskey with your forecast.
More of the same tomorrow. Some fog and drizzle in the morning at 65 degrees. Still low clouds lingering at noon, 76 then. Finally squeezing in some sunshine into the afternoon with a high of 84 at 4 p.m. We do it all over again on Thursday. By Friday morning, a cold front hits. Could give us a few showers and storms Thursday night on through Friday morning. Friday down to 74. Still 70s on Saturday. We warm up Sunday, only to see those temperatures drop a little bit early next week.
Now, switching gears now, schools in the Northeast ISD are soon going to have access to a nasal spray that can save a person from overdosing on fentanyl or opioids. Today, the NEISD Board of Trustees voted to make Narcan readily available at every single school. It's going to be kept at the school's clinics. District police officers are also going to have it. UT Health San Antonio's School of Nursing is providing that medication to the district for free. Now, we emailed NEISD about whether it's had any encounters with these kinds of drugs on campuses. The district says that it's not seeing this trend in schools, but it is exercising caution and responding to the increase in opioid emergencies in our community and also across the country. So they're just being proactive. Now, before we go, check this out. Hershey's, it's unveiled 2 new plant-based candy options. That's vegan Reese's peanut butter cups and a chocolate Hershey bar with almonds and sea salt. Sounds kind of good, right? Both products are going to be made with oats instead of dairy, and they are designed to taste like chocolate. The Reese's cups are going to be available nationally this month. The Hershey bar is going to be available in April. And by the way, Hershey is the latest company to offer this vegan chocolate because Nestle unveiled its vegan Kit Kat V, like vegan, in 2021. They all sound delicious. I have to tell you, though, I haven't seen them at H-E-B. All right, we're out of time. The 9 at Night returns tomorrow. Have a beautiful night. We'll see you then.